Let's get started with the strategy that will be very useful for you. It's very simple, and this strategy works on non-retested pairs, which is exactly what I'm focusing on right now. Here we have Euro GPA open. I'm going to show you this strategy on it right now. It's very simple, really very simple. Yeah, just by the cover, you probably figured out that any school kid can handle this because there's nothing complicated about it. Right now it's Monday, and the non-retested pairs have just opened. Let's go straight to the 15-minute interval. What do we need to do here? So, we've entered the 15-minute interval. What do we see here? Of course, many might be scared of this. What is this? Why are there just some lines here, some sharp, voluminous bullish candles without shadows, and some other lines? Our week has just begun, so the pair that opens will be formed from this moment. That is, from 12 o'clock. It formed here. And what we need to do is, first of all, in the morning, we analyze and see how the trend is going. So if it's Monday and you've also entered a non-retested pair like Euro CHF in the morning, here's what we do. We look at the candles and how they're moving on a longer interval. Right now I have the 15-minute interval open. It's already open for me, of course. So what do we need to understand here? First, let's take a look at Euro dollar, which I also have open. And then we'll check Euro GPI. You probably already noticed the difference, but let me explain. On Euro dollar, we can see there are strong pullbacks on the 15-minute interval, so right now it's a complete mess here, and it's harder to open in one direction. That's why we're skipping Euro dollar, even though I usually trade on it, and I'm moving on to Euro GPI because we can see that it's calmer and more comfortable for us to trade. So how do we trade here? On the 15-minute interval, we notice that there's not that huge volatility, no sharp pullbacks. The candles are moving smoothly and we can see a downward trend. So how do we trade here? On the 15-minute interval, we saw smooth candles and a downward trend. The price stopped and turned around. Now switch to the 1-minute interval to find trade positions. Since 9:45, the candle stopped. So here we have a point where it stopped. It held this maximum, and from that point, it has already turned around. Now let's switch to the 1-minute interval. We already understand that we have a downward trend and it's moving downwards. So if we put it another way, what we need to do now on the 1-minute interval is look for positions where to open trades. I'm going to show you all of this right now because we remember we have a downward trend and we shouldn't forget that. Here we see the following picture. In the last few hours, since 9:45, the candle has stopped and it has held its maximum here. Also, let me draw a horizontal line quickly like this. What do we actually need all this for? So that we can bounce off the 15-minute interval now in one direction and start opening trades. We have the maximum held here, 9:45. Next, what do we see here? The price is moving down, of course, on the 15-minute interval. Let me repeat, I apologize, we've seen all this and we can see that the price is trying to compensate for itself. So we have these moments. These moments are very important to us. They will be very useful. So we noticed that, alright, let's move on and see how the price is behaving here again. The price has dropped again. It's trying to compensate for itself again at this moment. And once again, it's falling. So, how should we act here? How do we trade if we've already noticed this trend? Since we're in this trend, we need to know how to open trades. If the trend continues with compensating and falling, it has turned around here. We trade from those positions when the price compensates, opening trades for 5 to 10 minutes downwards. If there's a reversal, like opening a trade, and the price compensates, you might think too, when our price starts to compensate for itself, we open from these higher positions for 5 to 10 minutes to go down. If you notice a reversal, like, for example, you opened a trade here, and the price started to compensate for itself, you might think, aha, it's compensating. Let me try to open a trade for a downward move. But it has already turned around here and started moving upwards. In this case, we definitely don't add to our position. So, we opened here. Let's say we have 3 trades. Fine, we opened for 5, 7 or 10 minutes downwards. But we're likely going to lose those because we see that there's been a reversal. We can see that the price tried to turn around here, but it didn't work. And now it's moving towards the previous maximum that we have held here. Let me draw some lines. We have this dip, from which the price is now moving in a completely different direction. You can see here how the price is approaching this line. So, if you notice a similar reversal, and in general, if there's a reversal happening, and you see that large bullish candles are forming during this trend on the 15-minute interval, I'll show you again, then you should know how to open trades here. You should open trades from these maximums that it reaches. So, it reached this maximum, and now we're opening a short-term trade here because we have a 1-minute interval. At this moment, when it reached this position, we open trades for about 1 to 3 minutes. Let me add the same then. From 1 minute to 3 minutes, I add to the increase because we break the previous maximum. Well, I generally recommend taking 2 trades, but you can also take 3 trades, meaning 1 minute, 2 minutes, and 3 minutes for an upward move during this trend. Just don't get confused. You shouldn't open trades on every trend when this happens. Because we just did an analysis and saw how the price compensates for itself. And now, it's starting to compensate and break through the previous maximums. The price is returning to the previous points where it turned around. That's why it's convenient for us to open trades here, and it will be very good for our trades to break out upwards. We just opened at the beginning. And what other significant moments are there during this trend? When there's a reversal like this, we need to be careful. So we just opened 3 trades, but what should we do next? We've already got our first profit from the first trade. What should we do next? Next we just wait. So 3 trades. If we get a profit now, we're waiting for the moment when the price starts to turn around. Like this. So, if 3 candles are forming at a higher position, then we add to our position for an upward move. But we try to take longer trades. Not just 1 to 3 minutes, but let's say from 3 to 5 minutes. We can try to take a few trades here, or we can open just 1 trade for about 3 minutes during these pullbacks, and that's it. We're not rushing, we're opening carefully, and in this way, we try to make profits. But there's also a really good point that I want to mention now, and I've talked about it a lot in my videos. This is something I've covered because I've already analyzed a similar strategy, Ake, on a non-volatile pair at the beginning of the week. This will be very useful since you'll be able to review and analyze it like I do every week. So, what's going on? With these kinds of trends, with this strategy, what really kills our trades and brings them to zero are exactly these kinds of reversals. Reversals happen very often, 50%, 50%. Either it's going up, or 50% is already turning around after the first candle or the second candle. It's turning down, meaning when it reached the maximum, it broke through and then turned down. What to do in such situations? In such situations, we just need to calmly wait for our third trade right here and see how the price behaves. If it starts to turn around again for an upward trend, we'll create some small dips. That's a good example. Here, 3 candles turned down and then again started to turn up. So from this candle, we could have already bounced up. And it's the same here. That is, if now we see some volume here, a volume bull, a volume candle, then we are already supplementing for an increase. Well, or if we notice a bull next to him, then we also add to the increase. Here you also need to open carefully. I recommend opening on this candle. If you had opened on this candle, you would have made profits on all 3 trades. For now, we have 1 profit and 2 losses. We need to try to catch the moment and open here. I've already explained this strategy. You can use it for longer time frames. You can use it here. The principle is the same. There aren't any suitable moments here. The trading is more focused on short term. By the evening, the candles will show themselves, and it will be clearer how the trend will behave this week. You can also use it here, but since it's the beginning of the week, I can't really explain the whole long-term strategy in detail right now. The principle is the same. It's just that there aren't any suitable moments here, so to speak. The trading is currently more focused on short-term trades, so for now, that's how it is. But towards evening, most likely today, I already think that here our candles will show themselves quite well. It will be more widely visible how our trend will decide to behave this week, how it will behave, because in the euro-dollar last week I first analyzed how it began to behave, and then calmly adjusted to it and calmly traded, because I managed to make a good profit with my team on the euro-dollar last week. For now I think we can wrap it up because there's no point in dragging out the video waiting for bullish candles. I hope everyone watching has understood the strategy. So, thank you for watching this video. Have a great evening or day, and stay tuned for the next videos.